blue cowboy denim, and I got a whiff of what might have been smoke. Mesquite, maybe, not tobacco or marijuana. "Answer that one," he replied. "I'd have to know what time he stopped last night, wouldn't I?" Duncan Fallsdown, who told me to call him Dunk with a K, accepted a bottle of Gatorade after refusing a beer, saying, "I'm hoptose intolerant," which might have meant 10 a.m. was too early, or the gentle rebuff of an alcoholic. A man in his mid-40s acquires seismic markers at the corners of the eyes. Harsh winters, smoky barrooms is what I saw. I dumped my coffee and made fresh while wind blew the first fat drops of rain against the roof. Twice while water boiled, I went to the door and whistled, then made small talk until Fallsdown followed me outside, across the breezeway, into the old ice house I have converted into a lab. I showed him around, explained what I do for a living, collect and sell marine specimens plus environmental consulting, then went to the door again. "When you crossed the boardwalk, did you happen to see a dog swimming around near my house?" "That was a dog?" Fallsdown replied, surprised with a tinge of wariness. The typical reaction of a newcomer who thinks he's seen what is probably an alligator but could be a giant otter. A few minutes later I returned, and my yellow-eyed retriever was drying in the breezeway, a fresh bone to occupy him, while Fallsdown and I talked above the hiss of rain. "These stone carvings, someone I know wants them back. Dollar-wise, they're fairly valuable. But that's not the reason. The person's in a hurry. Tomorrow there's a flea market near Venice I want to hit, then a gun show in Lakeland." "You don't know where the artifacts are?" "I've got some contacts, and Tomlinson's working on some others. That's why I'm here. MapQuest says the trip's 3 hours. Over an hour to Venice, then 2 hours to Lakeland, I guessed. But double that if Tomlinson's driving." Fallsdown, focusing on fish tanks along the wall, kept his back to me. "You know the guy better than I do. He's not as flaky as he pretends sometimes. He's got good instincts, too, and people trust him. Better than having just me show up, a cowboy Indian dressed like Billy Jack, asking questions about artifacts that might sell for 50-60 grand. See what I'm saying?" I was surprised by the numbers. At a flea market? It's the sort of place dealers use now. Used to be, the quality stuff was sold at auctions or antiquity shows. Coins, arrowheads, fossils. Florida had some of the biggest shows in the country. Vegas was big. New Mexico used to be, but the Indian relics trade has mostly gone underground. States are cracking down. Florida included, but it's still one of the world's best places for finding fossils and relics. The money's here, so the dealers keep coming. I was sitting at my computer and broke a personal rule by turning on the Wi-Fi before I'd finished the morning grunt work required of an aquarist who owns 2 boats. "These artifacts, do you have a link where I can find photos?" "I've got a folder in my rental car when the rain slows down. The carvings don't look like much. Black soapstone. Steatite, it's called. Some say the pieces look like owl faces." "Just the face?" "Judge for yourself, but they're plain-looking stones. Not nearly as pretty as agate coral. They find a lot of that near Tampa, but other areas too. Phosphate quarries are best." There were plenty of quarries. Phosphate mining has been a major Florida industry since the early 1900s, which Fallsdown already knew. "1 million years ago," he said, "inland Florida was high ground with rivers, and animals that collected there in the river basins and watering holes died there. That's why they call the area Bone Valley. Awesome fossils mixed in with stone tools from the Paleo era. Sort of one-stop shopping. Spend an afternoon digging the right spot, you could buy a car with what you find. Hell, a ranch if you really got lucky." Fallsdown looked around, his expression congenial. He had the easygoing confidence of a plumber or an electrician, but that didn't quite mesh with his knowledge of Florida geology. "Are you a private investigator?" "Not hardly. Studied the field sciences in college." On the computer screen I had opened photos of agate corals, all polished pink, silver, or cinnamon by the pressure of eons, each piece uniquely hollowed like a geode or miniature cave. Fallsdown replied, "Nope. But I did 3 years in the joint. 2 as library trustee. Deer Lodge State Prison, lots of reading time." I said, "Oh," while he focused on a 100-gallon tank where I had isolated 3 fingerling snook, a triad of silver blades suspended above a mangrove diorama. "But you are a member of the Crow tribe?" "I'm an Indian."